Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful puff stitch mini scarf. I'm going to use 4.5mm crochet hook and some double knit yarn, but you can use a different type of yarn and a suitable hook. And we will start by making a slip knot, and once we have done that we are going to chain 3, and we are going to work back into the very first chain, so the third chain from your hook, yarn around your hook, and then you go into the first chain you made, pull up a loop, yarn around, pull through 2, yarn around, pull through 2, and that's a double crochet stitch you've just made. Now chain 2 and turn your work around, and that chain does not count as a stitch, and we're working into that double crochet stitch. We're going to make 3 double crochet stitches into this one double crochet we made in the previous row. So when you've made your 3 double crochet stitches, you should have like a little triangle. Chain 1 and turn your work. You are turning your work after each row, and then make a single crochet. And now we're going to do our first puff stitch. To make a puff, you yarn around your hook, then you go into the next stitch, yarn around and pull up a loop, and you pull these loops quite tall, then yarn around your hook again, go back into the same space, pull up another loop, and then once more yarn around your hook, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop, and now you go yarn around your hook and pull through all 7 loops on your hook. And now we're going straight into the next stitch to make our single crochet stitch. So this is what your work will look like now. Now we're going to chain 2. That chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Turn your work, and we're going to make 1 double crochet stitch into the first stitch of this row. Now into the next stitch we're going to work 3 double crochet stitches, so they all go into the same stitch, go in there 3 times making double crochet, and then into the last one we're going to work just 1 double crochet stitch. Now chain 2 before you turn your work, and then make 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way across this row. So you're just making 1 double crochet into each of these stitches, no increasing for this row at all. And then you get to the end of your row. Again, we're going to chain 2 and turn your work. In this row we're doing increases again. So once you've turned your work, you're going to make a double crochet into next 2 stitches, and into the third stitch we're going to work 3 double crochet stitches. Make 3 stitches into the same stitch, and then we're going to work 2 more double crochet stitches, so 1 into each of the following stitches, and we got to the end of row 6. Next row is a puff stitch row. Chain 1, turn your work and make a single crochet, and now we're going to do a puff stitch. First you get your yarn around your hook, and then you're going into the next stitch, and then pull up a loop, yarn around your hook again, go into the same stitch and pull up another loop, yarn around your hook, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop, and you'll have 7 loops on your hook at this point. Now yarn around your hook and pull through all 7 loops on your hook, and now we're going straight into the next stitch and make a single crochet. Next we'll make a puff stitch. So just like before, you're going into the same space in 3 times and then pull through all the 7 loops on your hook and then go straight into the next space to make a single crochet. Each puff stitch will be separated by a single crochet stitch, and the last stitch of this row will also be a single crochet. And now we go into chain 2 and turn our work. In this row we are going to increase our work a little bit again, so we're going to make a double crochet into first stitch, then we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch. Now into the next 3 stitches we are just making 1 double crochet stitch, so 1 into each of the next 3 stitches. Then into the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches again into the same space, and in the final stitch we're just making 1 double crochet stitch. This is what your work looks like after this row. Now chain 2 and turn your work, and next row is nice and easy, no increases, no puff stitches, just a double crochet into each stitch all the way across. And this is row 9, and you should now have 9 double crochet stitches. So we're not counting that chain 2 at the beginning of your work or the chain 1 when you're doing your puff rows, but after this row, if you want to count your stitches, you should have 9 stitches across. Row 10 will be another one with an increase. So chain 2, turn your work, and we're going to make a double crochet stitch into next 3 stitches, just 1 double crochet into next 3 stitches. Then into next stitch we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches, and then we will make 1 double crochet into the following stitch, and after that one we're going to make another 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, and then now we're going to just make 1 double crochet into each of the remaining stitches left of this row, and you will end up with 11 stitches at the end of this row. We're now going to chain 1 and turn our work, and the next one will be a puff stitch row. So starts with a single crochet and then make a puff stitch. So into the same stitch 3 times, pull up a loop, and after you pull through all 7 loops on your hook, you just go in and work in a single crochet stitch straight away into the next stitch. Some of the patterns when you're making a puff stitch will ask you to finish off your puff with additional chain 1, so it closes the puff before you go into the next space or next stitch. But for this pattern you are leaving your puffs open, so once you've done your pull through of 7, you go straight into the next stitch to do a single crochet, and work this way all the way across the row, and we are finishing with a single crochet stitch. And now again going back to doing your double crochet rows, which are separating our puff rows, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. In this row we're going to include increase again, so we'll make 1 double crochet into next stitch, and then into the following stitch we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches, After you've done that one, we're going to work just one double crochet into next 7 stitches. So you stop in until you just have 2 stitches left to work into. So you've done your 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches, and when you got 2 more stitches, you are now making 2 double crochet stitches into the first of these 2 what are left, and then into the final stitch just 1 double crochet stitch, and you should now have 13 stitches. Next row is one of those easy ones with no increases, and just double crochet all the way across into all of the 13 stitches you have so far. Row 14 will have an increase, so we're going to do our chain 2 again, turn our work, and we are making 1 double crochet into next 5 stitches before we do our first increase. That's 3, 4 and 5, and into the next stitch we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches, 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and now we're going to make 1 double crochet stitch into the following stitch, and then do another increase and make 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, and we have now 5 stitches left to work into, and we're just going to work 1 double crochet into each of these 5 stitches which are left, and we will now have 15 stitches of our work. Next row after this is going to be a puff stitch row, so we're starting with chain 1 and single crochet, and we're going to make our puff stitches separated by single crochet stitch, and you end this row with a single crochet. And now we are just going to do a pattern repeat of 3 rows of double crochet stitches all the way across, no more increases. It's going to be a mini scarf, so we're not making it too wide, and we're also adding a border right at the end, so that will give a little bit more width, but at this point your work should be about 10 centimeters across. If you're using a double knit weight yarn, if you're using a different type, it might be a different size. So you've done 3 rows of double crochet, and now you're going to do a row of puff stitches, and this is exactly what you will be repeating now until you get the length of your scarf. I did 22 repeats before I started decreasing at the end, but some of my testers who were working on this project did up to 30 or 40 repeats. It all depends on the type of yarn you're using, your own tension, and how long you would like your scarf to be. So just keep going until you have made it the length you would like it, and then I'll show you how to do the decreases. So this is the one I made earlier, and this is done with cotton and a strand of mohair held together, so it's a little bit got like a more of a fluffy texture. So you can use different types of yarn and just see how you like the look of them. And we got now to the last repeat of the buff stitches, and we are now starting to decrease the other end of our scarf. In the first decrease row, we're going to first make 5 double crochet stitches. So into next 5 stitches, just make a double crochet, and then we're going to work 2 double crochet stitches into one. Yarn around your hook first, and then you go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. You got 3 loops on your hook, then go straight into the next stitch and pull up a loop, and you've got 4 loops on your hook, and then yarn around your hook, pull through 3 on your hook, and then yarn around and pull through the remaining of the 2 stitches. So this is our decrease stitch. Now we're going to make a double crochet into the next stitch and doing another decrease going into first one and the next one, and then pull through 3 and then pull through 2, and now we have 5 stitches left, and we're going to make 1 double crochet into each of these 5 stitches all the way till the end of this row. And at the end of this row you will now have 13 stitches. Next row is nice and easy, no decreases, so we're just chaining 2, turning work and making a double crochet into each stitch all the way across. Next row we're decreasing our work again, so chain 2 first, turn your work, and we're going to make a double crochet stitch first, and then we're going to make our decrease, so 2 double crochets worked into one. Let's go into next space and then one after, yarn around and pull through 3 and yarn around and pull through 2. Now we're going to make 1 double crochet into next 7 stitches before we're doing our next decrease stitch. Once you have done all your 7 double crochet stitches, we're going to work another decrease, go in next space, so yarn over and go in into the following space, pull through 3 and pull through 2, and then we have 1 more stitch left to work with a double crochet stitch. Row after that will be our buff stitch row, so starting with chain 1 and single crochet, and make your puff stitches and make single crochet stitches in between your puffs all the way across this row. In the next row we're going to do a decreasing again, so we're going to work a double crochet into next 3 stitches first, that's the second one and a third one, and now we're going to do our decrease stitch, so go into the next space, pull up a loop and then the following one, and then go through 3 and then go through 2, and again 1 double crochet into next stitch and another decrease straight after, so you go through 3 loops and then the final 2 loops, and you have 3 stitches left, and we're just going to work a double crochet into each of these 3 stitches until the end of this row, and at the end of this row you will now have 9 stitches of work. And turn your work and work 1 double crochet into each of these 9 stitches. Next row we're doing another decrease, so we're going to chain 2, double crochet into next stitch, and then we're going to do our decrease stitch, so go into next one and the one after that, go through 3 and go through 2, and then we're going to make 1 double crochet into next 3 stitches, and after that we're going to make another decrease stitch, so go straight into next stitch and the one after, and then pull through 3 and pull through 2, and then do one more double crochet stitch, and you should have 7 stitches. Now turn your work and make a row of single crochet and puff stitch. So you do 1 single crochet, 1 puff stitch all the way across, finishing with a single crochet. In the next row we're going to do chain 2 again at the beginning as always, then do a double crochet stitch into next stitch, then do our decrease stitch, so working 2 double crochets into 1, then do another just 1 double crochet stitch, and then work another decrease over the next 2 stitches and finish off with a double crochet stitch. Then chain 2, turn your work and make 1 double crochet into each of these stitches, so you will have 5 stitches what you're working in. In the next row we're going to decrease again, and we're working a decrease stitch straight away, so go into the next stitch and the following one and make that a pull through 3 and pull through 2, and then make a normal double crochet stitch into the next stitch, just 1, and then make another decrease, and you will end up with just 3 stitches. We're now working a puff stitch row, so start with a single crochet, then make a puff stitch, just 1, and then followed by the final single crochet stitch. Chain 2 and turn your work, and we're going to do a different kind of decrease, so we're going over all the 3 stitches now. Yarn around the hook and go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, then go into the next one straight away and pull up a loop, and then into the third one as well, pull up a loop, then you yarn around your hook and pull through 3 stitches, and then yarn around your hook and pull through the final 3. And now we just have 1 more row to do, so chain 2, turn your work, and we're just making 1 double crochet stitch into this stitch what we have made in the previous row, that decrease stitch. And now both tips of our scarf match exactly, and we are ready to start our border rounds. The first round of the border will just be a single crochet stitches, so chain 1 to get a bit of a height, and now we're going to make just single crochet all the way around, and we're working 2 single crochets to the space where you have a double crochet or a chain 2, and then 1 single crochet to the places which have either a single crochet or chain 1 from the rows that you made. So obviously the stitches will be sideways, so you'll have either a sideways double crochet to work into, or a sideways chain 2 or chain 1 or a single crochet. We will work this way all the way around, just making single crochet stitches, and when you get to the tip of your scarf, add an extra single crochet, just because you turn in your work and then coming back at the opposite direction, so you need that little bit of an extra there. Now we've got to the end of this round, add that extra single crochet again, and then slip stitch into the very first stitch you started with. And now we're going to add a puff stitch border. These puff stitches will be slightly different to the ones we did for our scarf section. So chain 1 again and make a single crochet into the same stitch where you slip stitched, and then pull up quite a long loop, yarn around your hook, go back into the same stitch and pull up a loop, and do this another 2 times. So you have 7 loops on your hook, and once you've done that, yarn around your hook and pull through all 7 loops. And now we're finishing this puff stitch with a chain, so it's a closed puff stitch. Now skip 2 stitches and make single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're starting our puff stitch again. So let's pull up a long loop, because you've got to go over 2 stitches with this puff stitch. Yarn around your hook, back into that same space where you made your single crochet, and we're going into this space 3 times, and you will have 7 loops on your hook, and then yarn around your hook and pull through all 7 and finish with a chain to close your puff. And then again skip 2 stitches and make a single crochet into the next stitch. And this is what we will be doing now all the way around. We're making these tall puff stitches, and they will be sideways because we're pulling them across 2 spaces. So keep working, making these puffs until you get back to the beginning, and you close with a slip stitch to the very first stitch what you made, and you have finished your puff stitch mini scarf. I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.